The story opens with a man named Hunter, a high-ranking figure inside the CIA. He is furious after receiving news that several of his agents in Bangkok have been killed, apparently massacred by someone known only as the Ghost.
One of our assets in Bangkok.
The Ghost. The Ghost.
Curious and threatened by this mysterious name, Hunter orders his team to start digging. When the results come in, he is stunned. The Ghost is not just some random killer, but one of the most brilliant and dangerous terrorist hackers in the world. This person has already caused chaos everywhere, from stealing trillions of dollars to hacking oil infrastructure in Yemen. Hunter tries to keep this disaster under wraps and hide it from his boss. Unfortunately for him, his boss shows up at the worst possible time. The CIA director, a woman named Catherine, walks in and quickly realizes that something serious is going on. Since all of their agents in Bangkok are already dead, Catherine has no choice. She decides to call in an old asset, a former mercenary and ex-subordinate who has been inactive for years, a man named Lucas. It has been 2 years since Lucas was deactivated as an agent. Now he is basically a drunk, someone who spends almost every day drowning himself in alcohol. 3 full bottles are nothing for him. He can finish them and still not pass out. We do not know exactly what case got him kicked out of the CIA, but when Catherine calls, Lucas completely panics and rejects the call right away.
Lucas?
2 years, Catherine.
You and I.
Lucas.
Fate does not give him much room to run, though.
No! It's the last place I can drink in peace!
After being chased by local thugs and getting into a fight over unpaid debts, Lucas finally gives in and agrees to listen to what Catherine wants. She needs his help to catch the Ghost, who is currently at the airport and preparing to escape from Bangkok.
Fuck! 2 fucking years! Taxi!
When Lucas arrives at the airport, he is still clearly bitter about this mission. For 2 years, he was abandoned by his employers in a foreign country with no explanation. Now suddenly they call and ask for help. Even so, once Catherine offers him freedom, a clean slate, and a large amount of money as compensation, Lucas starts to reconsider. In the end, he accepts the mission, and from here his real battle begins. This is fight or flight. After passing through airport security, Catherine explains the details of the operation. Lucas must capture the Ghost alive and bring this hacker back to the CIA. The problem is, there is no clear physical description of the Ghost. The only clue is a fresh gunshot wound that the Ghost received in the previous incident in Bangkok. The wound should still be new and not fully healed. That small detail is the only thing Lucas can rely on, which means he has to be extremely careful and observant to figure out who the Ghost really is. Inside the plane, the flight attendants are being briefed. They are reminded to give special treatment to the first-class passengers, who are mostly rich and influential people. They are told to keep smiling and stay extra polite, but only for this select group. Lucas gets a first-class seat, blending in with the wealthy passengers. Back at headquarters, Catherine receives another shocking update about the Ghost. It turns out the CIA is not the only one hunting this hacker. The triads, the Yakuza, various gangs, governments, and mafia groups are all after the Ghost because of the chaos this person has created. Which means one thing. The plane Lucas is currently on is packed with professional killers, all trapped together at 30,000 feet, and all with deadly motives.
Are you telling me that plane is full of killers?
Exactly.
Back in first class, Lucas ends up sitting beside a man named Cayenne. Despite his tough appearance, Cayenne turns out to be a professional dancer from Chile, who claims he is on his way to perform in San Francisco. Without any shame, he even starts showing off his dance moves right there beside Lucas.
Yo quiero que te sientas como yo.
I see. Which one?
After watching the awkward performance, Lucas heads to the back of the plane to continue his search for the Ghost among the passengers. There are simply too many people to inspect, so he decides to wait for a better moment and returns to his seat. Just as he sits down, Cayenne hands him a glass of alcohol, and of course, Lucas cannot refuse. A moment later, Lucas starts feeling dizzy, but he does not pass out. Cayenne quickly drags him into the airplane restroom as if trying to help, but once inside, he admits the truth. He slipped horse tranquilizer into Lucas's drink. The crazy part is that Lucas has been drinking nonstop for 2 years, and his body has built up a ridiculous resistance to strong drugs. Cayenne realizes the dose did not work, so he starts beating Lucas again and again inside the cramped restroom. Once Lucas is beaten nearly unconscious, Cayenne tries to finish the job by strangling him, but Lucas manages to pull something from his shoe and fights back. With one desperate shove, he sends Cayenne's head upward into a sharp metal fixture, killing him instantly. To counter the drug still in his system, Lucas drinks some soap to force himself to vomit. He then hides Cayenne's body in the ceiling panel of the restroom. Right at that moment, Aisha and her partner Royce walk in with an air marshal. Lucas has no choice. He takes the marshal down before the man can identify him.
Oh my God, is that blood dripping from the ceiling?
To keep Aisha and Royce calm, he quickly explains that he is a CIA agent and needs their cooperation to capture a dangerous hacker on board. Lucas then heads back into the passenger cabin to continue his search. A short while later, Royce reports that the air marshal has vanished, leaving only his badge behind. Someone has killed him and dragged his body into the cargo hold. Lucas and Isha head down to investigate, unaware that the killer is still hiding there in the shadows. Lucas begins to notice something strange about Aisha. She is sweating cold, the kind of sweat that comes from someone trying to hide pain. Catherine had told him that the ghost was shot during the chaos in Bangkok and should still have a fresh wound. The more Lucas studies Isha, the more convinced he becomes that she is the hacker he has been hunting. At first, Aisha denies everything, but when the assassin suddenly appears and moves in to attack her, she drops the act and takes him down effortlessly before shooting him.
The ghost is a 16-year-old girl! Look out! No!
There you are.
With her cover blown, she finally admits the truth. She is the ghost, and every killer on this plane is here to take her out. With no other choice and knowing Lucas only wants her alive, Aisha agrees to work with him. After briefing Aisha to keep pretending as a regular flight attendant, Lucas heads to the first-class cabin. He tries to convince the manager to let him check each passenger, but instead of cooperation, he gets attacked. A Japanese woman leaps at him. She is a member of the Yakuza, and she goes straight for a very sensitive spot, squeezing hard enough to make Lucas scream in pain. Despite the rough start, Lucas manages to fight back. He grabs a glass and drives it into her eye, taking her down. And before he can catch his breath, another threat appears. A group of triad assassins rushes toward him. Lucas grabs the nearest bottle and turns it into a weapon, launching into another brutal fight. After taking out all 3 triad killers, he finds a phone on the floor. On the screen is a photo of himself. That is when it hits him. These assassins are not here for the ghost. They are here for him. Back at headquarters, Hunter is staring at the growing pile of bodies, confused about who Lucas really is. How can one man fight like this? How can he wipe out trained killers on his own? Catherine finally reveals the truth. Lucas used to be part of a secret service unit assigned to protect high-ranking officials. One day he discovered a young girl being abused by the very official he was meant to guard. Lucas could not ignore it. He killed the man, and from that moment on, the CIA labeled him a fugitive. The only person who chose to protect his identity was Catherine. Now the reality becomes clear. Lucas is the real target. About 70% of the passengers on that plane are professional assassins, and every one of them is receiving alerts about Lucas on their phones. Without hesitation, the entire cabin turns against him. Lucas goes into full survival mode, fighting off wave after wave of killers. Even with a stab wound in his stomach and nearly being taken down by 3 kung fu trained women, he still manages to survive. Those 3 turn out to be Isha's allies, secretly traveling with her to keep her safe. Because Lucas is badly hurt, Isha brings him to the cargo hold to treat his injuries. There, she finally reveals the device everyone is after. It is a computer she built herself, a machine capable of hacking into any system or network in the world. This is the real treasure that all those killers have been chasing. Meanwhile, Hunter and Catherine discover the ghost's true identity. Hunter immediately steps out to contact the assassins and update the target. Catherine notices something off about his behavior and follows him. After Hunter transmits Isha's face to all the killers, Catherine confronts him. Hunter is not just a traitor. He has been working as an informant for mafia groups, the Yakuza, the Triads, and many others, feeding them information about Aisha. When he learns that Catherine sent Lucas to capture Aisha, he adjusted his plan. If Lucas became a problem, Lucas would also become a target. But now that Aisha's identity has been revealed, Hunter switches back to the original plan. Instead of turning him in, Catherine surprises him. She offers to join the scheme. She wants half of the profit in exchange for keeping his betrayal a secret. Back in the cargo hold, Lucas is barely staying upright. The stab wound in his stomach has drained almost all his strength. Isha hands him a small bottle, calling it an adrenaline mix to help with the pain. Lucas drinks it without hesitation. But instead of getting focused, he suddenly becomes overly energized, almost excited. Everyone watches in confusion as Lucas starts acting like he is drunk on pure chaos. And then the truth comes out. What he drank was not adrenaline. It was an extremely powerful snake venom. At the same time, a group of assassins begins forcing their way into the cargo bay. Aisha's 3 protectors climb up first to stop them. Fueled by venom and adrenaline coursing through his system, Lucas charges up to join the fight. In his distorted state, the brutal brawl around him starts to look strangely bright and joyful, like his mind is twisting violence into something completely unreal.
You're in the presence of an apex predator.
The chaos escalates when one of the assassins fires a shot that blows out a plane window. The sudden decompression pulls several killers out into the sky, leaving the cabin in complete disorder. Things get even worse when another assassin breaks into the cockpit and accidentally kills the pilot. Isha quickly hands Lucas a chainsaw to give him an edge in the fight, and Lucas uses it to tear through the remaining attackers. Oh yeah. By the time the dust settles, the last of Isha's protectors has sacrificed herself to shield Aisha from a bullet. With the pilot gone, Lucas and Aisha rush into the cockpit and take control of the aircraft. Meanwhile, Hunter and Catherine are already waiting at the airport, but the plane never comes. Isha has figured out their plan. The moment Hunter realizes the mission has failed, Catherine shoots him on the spot.
It's probably the fog.
She then calls Lucas, speaking gently and trying to convince him to land the plane. Lucas knows exactly who she is now and refuses. Her calm tone quickly turns into rage.
You just threw away your fucking life.
Did more power than I ever did at the agency.
Okay,
and you
bye
will
now.
never-
Fuck her.
Thank you.
A few days later, Lucas wakes up in a hospital bed. He survived the venom, but the nightmare is not over. Instead of returning home, he finds himself in the middle of a war zone, now part of a humanitarian mission. And the one leading it is Isha, continuing her fight, this time for the children trapped in the conflict.
We're not done yet.
Oh,
So the moral of the story is, if someone offers you adrenaline on a plane, maybe read the label first, or you might end up fighting 70% of the passengers while high on snake venom.